BBOR, Black Box Online Radio, May 20th, 2017. Does the supernatural exist? If you say yes, where's the proof? If you say no, how did you obtain that conclusion? First, what is the supernatural? What is supernaturalism? When people use this word, what are they talking about? How do you respond to the statement? It's not supernatural if it exists in the natural world. It's just misunderstood. Meaning that we don't know everything about how nature functions. We don't know everything about the planet Earth or outer space. We are constantly learning things. Is it possible that something has been deemed supernatural and we just don't understand it? Or we don't have enough information about it? Or we don't have enough proof about it? One of the easiest ways to illustrate this is something like ghosts or vampires. If we just die and turn into ghosts, well, that's the process. That's what happens. Or you get bit by a vampire, you turn into a vampire. How is that supernatural? The other sort of viewpoint is nature is a lot more than just the planet Earth. Nature can be viewed as the collection of all the processes in the entire universe and everything in the space-time continuum and so on. Is it possible that there is just a lot more going on there that we don't know about? And more importantly, supernatural. How can something be above that? How can something be above nature? How can something be above all of the collection of all the processes in existence? Is that not just an additional part of nature that we have not yet evaluated, that we have not yet examined? Now, keep in mind, supernatural does not only refer to ghosts or to vampires. People often use supernatural when talking about things like God or about spirituality, things like the soul. And are these things supernatural? How do you respond to the statement, if you're calling it supernatural, it's based on the assumption that it does not exist? Meaning, you're trying to say that if something's supernatural, it doesn't exist because nothing can be above the collection of all the processes in existence. The collective nature. Remember, nature is not just on the planet Earth. Outer space is nature. Every collapsing star, every supernova, every brown dwarf, all of those things are natural. What else would they be? So how can something be above the natural? If you're trying to say that it just functions in its own way, in some sort of magical way, well, first of all, where's the proof of that? Second of all, even if something is magical, is that not just an additional part of nature if it actually exists? How do you respond to that? If you call it supernatural, it's based on the assumption that it doesn't exist. Therefore, there's an immediate bias. The assumption creates the bias. It creates a tainted variable. Is it just possible that people are having the wrong viewpoint when it comes to things that are called supernatural? It's a very difficult question, and don't think for a second that I have all the answers. These are just sort of the questions that I would like to get answers to myself, so I throw them out to you. Maybe one day we will understand more. Maybe one day we'll have a finer definition of what nature truly is, or if something can actually be supernatural, above nature. But as of now, it's very difficult to say. I would really hope that one day we do understand more about the universe, and maybe our lives will become a lot simpler and the ways of thinking will become clearer. Only time will tell.